All right. Hey, everybody. We are back with War for Crimson Rock, session 67. Got a full house again. Very happy to see everybody here. And we were just joking about how I finally got all my YouTube videos back up and it's up to date, as of right now at least. And yeah. Anyways, I would love for someone, cough cough Megan, to give us a quick update of what happened last time. Or if anybody else wants to chime in, by all means, please do.
So the last session, we ended up finishing off all but, I believe, one of the soldiers that we had whittled our last encounter down to. We did manage to revive Ori's brother, and he's pissed. He is not happy with the situation. He's convinced that he could have taken the Tabaxi and her guards. He's now he's coming more to understand and believe us when we say that there is something going on, but he's fixated on Ori, like when she was younger, wanting to be the hero, and Ori's like, no, that's not the case. This has kind of fallen into our laps, but why don't you come along and be the hero? But at the very least, you need to go and say sorry to the other townspeople and say, you know, sorry for causing mischief. Um, I will have to probably leave it there, but we made it back to the village, and even though Mikage saw her brother, she has just pretty much ignored him. Ori ends up having a heart to heart with her brother. They hash their differences, and I think Ori and her brother have come to an understanding. Um, Dave and has kind of bonded a little bit over circumstances with Ori's brother, being that they were both soldiers. Um, Now, Kenn has not told us anything about what the Tabaxi has said. Now, I don't believe anybody else is aware of it other than Mikage seeing that Pan talked to the Tabaxi. Um, but we decide to go first to Siestia and see if she is able to help us unlock the sword, because we're like, okay, we might as well get this done now. We don't want to have to worry about losing the scroll. Pan had snatched it from Ori's brother, who apparently had grabbed it in the scuffle um, in the temple when he was chasing after the Tabaxi. So we all go. So Ori and her brother are off bonding at this point. We go to the temple. Siestia says, "Okay, y'all need to speak the words," and everyone. Pan apparently, was it Pan or Dave? Somebody saw an Instagram, like someone's going to sketch out the
That,
epic
that was Dave. Yeah.
unveiling, and yeah. So it ended up not working. So the guy who was going to draw up this magnificent um, reveal of the sword regaining its power is just kind of like, okay. But so but Mikage takes the scroll and she notices that there's a tug to the east. And based off of her general knowledge of the surrounding area, she's like, the only thing that she knows that would be of significance is Crimson Rock. And she has come to the conclusion that she thinks that the sword and the scroll must be brought to Crimson Rock to activate it. Um, so we decide to meet up with Ori and her brother, who are now getting drunk at grandmother's tavern or Granny's tavern, and we decide, okay, we're going to spend the night and make our way the next morning. Now, there off screen, there was some notes about some things that have to be wrapped up before we leave the town. So before we make a decision what direction we're heading into. I think that sums it up in a nutshell. Sorry, things kind of got a little like jumbled.
We also needed to go not just to Crimson Rock, but there was back to Siam,
Cyan.
right?
Welcome everyone. This is our
Nope.
first. No, you're good.
We did discuss off screen at one point that we may want to go back to Cyan because there's a couple of unanswered questions. But I think that was something that we were going to discuss on screen in a few minutes once everyone, quote unquote, wakes up from their long rest.
Yes. So if you haven't already, I believe everybody's taken a long rest. Thank you, Megan. That was really good. Does anybody want to add anything on top of that? Okay. So, yes, after we finished recording the last session, we did have a chat out of game, and there were still some outstanding questions that can be answered if you so decide to choose. And so I thought this session, especially given kind of the timing, and we're all honestly a little tired today, so what we'll do is we'll have kind of just that chat about, hey, what are some things that you want to know? Maybe close up shop in Sandral if there's anything that you want to handle, and then afterwards kind of figure out the next thing to go. I believe thoughts are going back to Cyan to answer some of these questions, but again, I will leave it in your hands to kind of discuss amongst yourselves and just determine, what it is that you want to know. What are some things? What are some theories, thoughts, information that you have? Kind of start wrapping it together because we are in the home stretch right now. Okay, so I'm gonna move everybody to Sandral right now, and let's see, go to the village here. There we go. All right, and I will let you guys now just kind of start that conversation, and if you want, I can give you the questions that we asked that were brought up last time, or I can let y'all talk about that. Let me know what you would prefer. But the floor is yours.
Let's bring up some of the questions that we talked about. Sorry.
I was going to say I'd love to hear those questions.
Okay, sure thing. So one of them was, how are the chimeras involved in this? So that's one question, right? What's going on with Fira? She's been kind of dormant for a little while. A question is, Bodhi is bringing back Babel. What is his angle? Another one was, what's causing the disruption in the communication? And I will spoil this a little bit. This information was shared, but it's been ages ago. That essentially the Council of Defense was monitoring Tieflings, and so they were more or less tapping into these ascending stones, and they were really the only power that was capable of doing so, because you needed, I think it was it Tanston, I think it was, who was sharing like there's only a certain power that could do that, and so they were the ones essentially tapping in. And so when, for instance, like, I'll go into a little more detail. When it came out that Ori's dad Akamenos was the mole, because they shared that information, they were actually tapping into Ori's dad's sending stone, because he was communicating with his wife, Ori's mom, about that. And so then that's when they knew what they needed to, that's when they started setting up and scheming the way they did. So the disruption was really from the Council of Defense, basically tapping into, essentially, like wiretapping all these like high level tieflings and then going about their nefarious business. So that's the question. How is Fira involved? So that's another one. And then also, how is Mikage involved in this in terms of like her family? And then you did pick up some key documents right before you left. So a lot of these questions were from Megan. I remember Samad and Sean, you were still thinking about possible questions that you may have too. And so that's what's out there right now. But again, feel free to ask any more questions. I'm gonna write these down too. So this way I want to wrap this all up in a nice bow for everybody. Okay.
No, I didn't think of really anything. The question was.
Okay.
I feel like we're probably going to see Fira and Babel / Bodhi at Crimson Rock. I feel like that's where that's leading. Question is, how much damage has she done?
There must be like another, so like previously the way that we got to the underworld was through sleep. What was it? Or like we went to sleep and that's how we went to the like other realm. Was that correct?
It was a priestess. It was a priestess that put us under. This was back right after I joined the party.
But we've never actually had a we've never actually like seen a portal between the two.
No,
Yeah.
it's not a portal.
But if there's chimeras that are coming through, then there is a portal.
But kind of based off the clues what we've had, I feel like the chimeras are being made. Like I remember.
Oh, okay. So there's
Because
somebody
like,
making the chimeras.
I mean, at least that was what was implied. Now, to be fair, a chimera heavy was like the first part of it, and they've kind of dwindled off because y'all said prior when y'all met Bodhi and you had these other individuals that were helping. Like I said, this is all pre Mikage joined the party, so she's just her bits and pieces, and at least what she's gotten together is it sounds like the chimeras are being manufactured because they're not necessarily natural to the region, but she'll if that's just something we have to kind of put behind it, it's fine. Mikage is more interested because she realized that she had some documents that she wanted to go over with the priestess. Since her brother's not being very cooperative, she was going to make one last trek to the temple. And since she took a level in cleric.
Did we ever? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. No, she's just basically going to just kind of get the blessing from the priestess to go forward and stop what's going on.
Okay. Do we know like what the blood magic? So the blood magic, sort of just know very vaguely before the summoning, and I believe it was also to power the swords. Or is that correct? But we didn't really like finalize what exactly was going on with all of the blood magic, right?
I think the blood magic is to summon Babel into this world. There was a mention, basically, it sounded like they needed sacrifices, and the blood magic kind of played into the summoning stones, but I think it's going to play a bigger part in bringing Babel into the world.
Okay.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
It would still be good to know where the chimeras come from, I guess, or where they're manufactured. Why were we going to Siam specifically?
Well, I thought we also, because I still, even though the Tabaxi is who we all believe is the killer, something is still not sitting right. There's a weird dynamic with the Tabaxi and the soldiers, and right now we can assume that she's working for them, but I'm wondering, was she at the temple to try and get the scroll, and did Ori's brother just kind of interrupt it, or was she just running from him and happened to get to Cyan? Because it is really hard to get to Cyan for someone who really doesn't know where it is. It's not that people can't get there. It's just kind of like maybe there's a type of magic that kind of protects the town, but it doesn't really. Whoever is meant to go there gets there. But that's what Mikage believes. That's how the town describes their town. That's not necessarily the point, but there's still some questions with the Tabaxi that needs to be addressed. And I'm assuming she's going back to Cyan, but she could also be heading to Crimson Rock. I don't know what's going on. Mikage's.
So we want to go to Cyan to find answers to these questions?
I thought that was part of it.
Okay, well, the
but we are running.
But Kenn knows more about this Tabaxi right now, so maybe.
The Tabaxi.
I have a feeling.
Okay, guys.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, I have a feeling she's only Tabaxi shaped.
The Tabaxi is my sister.
Oh,
Yes.
just kidding. Is she a Tabaxi or is she a Genassi?
No, she's a Genasi.
Okay.
Okay, so you're sharing with us now officially. By the way,
yeah,
guys.
yeah, I knew that anyways. But yes, the Tabaxi is my sister, and she was resurrected by Bodhi. Bodhi wants
Oh.
the the. I wanted to play this. I was gonna wait and play it like maybe I'll transition to be a bad guy at the end, but I was like, that's not fun, so I decided against it. I was gonna message Kenneth to come up with an alternate story just in case.
Oh, that would have
I
been
wanted
great. I
to
was
do
like
that,
sitting there waiting.
but
I was like, okay, that's
I
cool.
was,
Go
I
ahead.
was thinking about it, but then I was like, nah, because I don't
I
like
was
the.
wondering.
I had no weight in there in her like reasoning. I couldn't find my character to get behind that. Like he's not evil enough.
If you had woven together something that like you had been like every like the pan flute that you had been playing was like secretly summoning all of the chimeras and
Yeah, that would have been sweet, but nah, like my character's background wasn't. He's too indifferent to like have gone. That's why he didn't say anything. That's why Pan didn't say anything right away, because he's not like
Mm.
necessarily good, but he's not evil either, and he can't get behind her reasoning. But Bodhi is gonna use. He wanted the scroll because the sword can kill Babel, and Bodhi is gonna exchange um resurrecting Babel for like a trade of like wishes to get what he wants. And like part of the
Ooh.
wishes is to bring back uh people from the dead, including like my dad, who was like a war general. Um and he was killed by what's the city? Cyan, or was that the country? Sorry.
Cyan is the capital. Voltier is the
Yeah,
country, which is
Voltier.
what
He
y'all
was
are in right
killed
now.
by the Voltier government, and the my sister was saying to get the scroll and to steal the Hand of Babel. I tried to steal it, by the way, when we were in the city fighting, and I went up the wall to the tower, and that girl was
Mm-hmm.
there, and I tried to get the hand from her, and I couldn't.
Oh,
I
Farah,
failed.
yeah.
Yeah, I failed. But they wanted to get they want to get people back to life because they don't like Voltier because Voltier is like evil, and like the defense council, the one that Lucius works for, is behind the like extermination. They use like the general disdain towards tieflings to like acquire property and land and stuff, to be greedy because they just are bad people. And so
Mm.
that's why Bodhi and my sister want revenge, but their revenge is not something Pan wants to get behind. Like they just want to kill them, and Pan
I don't
doesn't
care
really.
who gets in between.
Yeah, Pan doesn't really give a shit about that. Because like random people are gonna die, so they're gonna use like tieflings and people to like exterminate to summon Bodhi, or not Bodhi, uh, Babel. And so she was here to get the scroll. She did kill Ori's dad on the order of the defense council, who Lucius also works for. And she says, don't trust Lucius. Lucius also works for the defense council. He's a liar, and he was here to steal the scroll. He didn't just happen upon it. Um, he also works for the defense council. Why he is not so against the extermination of the tieflings is not something that she mentioned, but he does work for them. And he was after the scroll. He came to get it because they wanted it and Bodhi wanted it. I think that's right, Kenneth?
Yes, more or
Confirm?
less.
Yes,
Let's keep in
more or
mind,
less.
Bodhi,
Yeah,
Bodhi is head of the Council of Defense. So
yeah.
just keep that
Bodhi
in
is
mind.
head of the Council of Defense, so Lucius works for them. Um, Ori's getting drunk, so I guess she's not hearing all of this right now, but Rachel is.
Yeah, just pretend like you don't know any of this, Rachel.
Or like your character doesn't know it yet. Yeah, your
Y'all
character
are
is not
passed
yet
out
aware.
on the side.
Yeah, her character is not yet aware of it or whatever. So that's why I knew to steal the scroll from him, or why I wanted to jack it, uh, and why I was like hinting all those questions towards him being a liar. Um,
Mm.
I didn't know she was my sister the whole time. She told me during the fight. She was like, "Bust these scrolls, and I'll tell you everything," or like, "Bust the binds." So I broke her lock,
Oh,
and she
okay.
ran off. And then
Oh.
I did not capture her. I let her go after trying to be like, she was like, just come with me. And I was like, yeah, no. Um, And then I feel like I'm missing one more thing, and I was going towards it, and now it's slipped my mind. F.
Let's
Okay,
see.
well, if I think of it, I'll say it.
Let's see if I can find anything. Man,
This is a lot of information.
Yeah, that I've been holding back for like 80 sessions and shit. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I was wondering, I was like, I'm pretty sure the Tabaxi is his sister, but at the same time, I'm like, so why is he not revealing? Like, hey guys. But that's good to know because I was wondering like which direction, like,
But I don't have any information on the chimeras or
okay.
like the sacrifices to make them. I didn't really ask about the chimeras, to be honest. I didn't really think of it.
Mm.
So your sister is saying that Lucius is also working?
He does
For-
work for the Council of Defense. He does work for Bodhi. How strong his motives are not like fully known, but she's saying he's a liar, don't trust him. He's like a sucker for the council. He'll do anything for them. But he got pissed off. When the council told her to kill their dad, he got pissed off and chased after her. But he still was there to get the scroll on the orders of the council.
Okay.
He knew ahead
And
of time that
yeah,
his father was going to die.
I didn't ask about that. He knew. I'm not sure he was aware about that. Maybe Kenneth can confirm that because I guess I could have asked that and I didn't. But
you did not ask that question.
yeah, I did not ask that question. But he did. He was aware. Like he was like he wasn't. He didn't need to. He didn't need for us to tell him that she killed him. Like he was like, oh, I don't know, and all that. But that was like he's in the loop.
Interesting.
Can I hold his hand underwater? Like,
What's up?
oh no, I was like, maybe a waterboarding session for Ori's brother is in order.
But yeah, I was kind of trying to poke it out of him to see if I could get like a he's on double-sided confession or something like that instead of just because I don't know, my sister could be a liar too, but she came clean about being a bad person, so or like her motives.
Mm.
So I trusted it because she wasn't like trying to hide anything. She answered all the questions very whatever. Oh, and she said that yeah, and she said 'cause she was like, "You should come with me," and I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not gonna just kill a bunch of people to bring back my dead dad."
So I wouldn't necessarily say evil, but she's definitely self-motivated. She
yeah,
doesn't care about the victims.
yeah, she doesn't care about the tieflings, and she doesn't like the council because they killed our dad or like disgraced him and exiled him for being a war general on the other side. Uh,
And Ori knows none of this.
Well, you're not like in the room while I'm telling them all of this, I guess, right?
She's probably
Asleep.
Just
Yeah.
a small
Pass it.
just a small clarifying detail, Samad. Yeah, I think I told you, but you may have forgotten, and that's okay. Was that the council, or really let's say the council. Okay, so your dad was a war general, fought for Cyan for Valtier, and then eventually they exiled him, and then they purposely like poisoned his mind, corrupted him, and then tried to get him to kill both of you, and
Oh yeah.
including your sister and you. But
Yeah,
then
yeah, I
you
forgot
stopped him.
about that.
Yeah, so that's essential. That's why she's very upset about this.
But yeah, there was like a bunch of random shit. Like I asked her why she didn't just come find me instead, and like a bunch of useless crap that wasn't really pertinent to the story. But there was one more thing I was going again towards, and I forgot. But anyways, yeah. So those are like the reasons. I don't know any. I didn't ask anything about the chimeras. I think that's the only gap in the like reasons.
Yeah, and
that
that's
I
a
have.
small thing.
So feel free, Samad. This was kind of cool actually, but we kind of had a like a in between session. So I will say this because I mean like, the cat's out of the bag, no pun intended. But after Pan let the Tabaxi disguise, his sister Tabaxi like disguise ran off, and then our session ended, and I said, hey, we're gonna have whatever happens because it's gonna be basically a brief conversation, and so we had that basically over chat. So Samad, if you want, feel free to look over our chat and just kind of reread that conversation, and maybe hopefully
Yeah,
that'll
that's what I was kind of looking at, but it's like a lot of chat, so I don't remember
so feel
all
free.
of it. But
But we
I feel
basically
like that was most of it.
yeah, I think you covered most of the details, which is good. And yeah, we basically just had like a short session, basically over chat, and like this is what she says, this is what he says, and then just kind of go forth. And so I will post that up later, like the transcript kind of cleaned up, as part of our record of what we're doing too.
Yeah, but yeah, Bodhi can open those portals. That's also kind of why I was talking about it, the underworld portals, because we were just talking about it. So I felt like this was a good
Okay.
spot to like
He can
Yeah.
do it like at will.
I don't know the ritual. She didn't say. It was like a short. Like I just ran off to like ask her these questions and then decide what to do and then come back because I didn't want to leave you guys. Um, but he's like trying to bring back his family also, and herself. She's like resurrected, but not like fully, I guess. And
You
she
said
needs
there were two. Sorry. There were two people that y'all met prior to that was in a kind of similar state, right?
two people. I'm only aware of my sister being like that, like reanimated or whatever. I don't know.
I thought
Maybe
there were two other people that had a mark on them.
I don't
I don't know
remember.
if there's a mark. There were two other people. I mean, I'm thinking of somebody right now, and I don't know if I want to give it away yet.
It was it the guy that accompanied us that was like our boy that sang the songs with me? What was
Am
his name?
Quellian?
No, not Quellian. He was like
It was Dave's barbarian friend
I don't
that
know.
ended up being a doppelganger, right?
That's what I was thinking of, but I don't know
Wait,
if he was the real. I forgot his name.
wait a minute. No, I'm blanking now. Who is that? Is that who you guys are talking about?
Y'all had a boss fight with
They
them,
are
I think, prior.
but I can't remember.
Oh my goodness.
They did a. You thought one was a friend, but they ended up not being.
That's what I'm thinking of. That yes, who
Okay.
you're talking about is who exactly I'm thinking of, but I don't remember their name.
Is it two people? It's two people, right? Is it a guy and a girl? Or
I was only thinking of a guy.
No, yeah, it was just the guy that was with us that at some point we realized he was a dog.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm
Um,
I'm blanking now. Like,
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was
their
a while
name.
ago.
Yeah, it was a long time
That
ago.
was a while ago.
oh my goodness.
It was pre-Mikage.
Not sure. I don't
Wow.
remember.
I'll have to look this one up.
Aragon? Argon?
Maybe
Guy.
because we did have a character with that name because I think we talked about the books.
I mean, yeah.
Afterwards.
Oh, that
But
guy.
yeah.
I remember now. Yes. Okay. God, what was that guy's name? Okay, I know who you're talking about. You guys found him and eventually you killed him.
Aga, Aragon, something.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. You're 100% right. I totally blanked. Argus. That was his name.
Argus. Yeah,
Argus.
Argus. Oh my goodness, dude. Wow.
Okay, and then the other thing was that the council, the guards or the guards that were there with her were there to protect her. The council didn't stop Lucius from going to kill her because they also want her. Like they don't really care about her because she's just like a dead. Like that's just more shit for them to not worry about if they both get killed. But Bodhi sent the guards to help her.
Because the brother went rogue, basically.
I guess, yeah.
Or we're assuming he went rogue.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like the kind of information I want to try to poke out of him, or I was trying to. Because I didn't talk to her for that long, right? Like I was only gone one turn.
So what we might do is when we wake the other, or Ori and her brother up, because I have a feeling that we're all like just kind of sitting outside Mikage's front door, just kind of discussing, while the other two are inside. Mikage, I think, would like to go nudge Ori, and then make sure, like, we'll go quick to see fill in Ori with all the stuff that we're kind of aware of. That way she's in on it, and then she can decide what she wants to do about her brother, being that this is kind of some deep stuff, but I wouldn't trust him. I'd bring him along with us to Crimson Rock, but watch out for a cursed but sudden inevitable betrayal.
Ori wants to trust him so bad.
Top 10
No,
anime betrayal.
We had like a. Did we have a truth serum or something at some point? Or no?
Not while Mikage.
I thought
I don't remember.
Okay.
Maybe if we did, we used it already or something.
Can't remember.
Somebody, I feel like there's a really big detail that you left out, and I'm trying to find it. I don't remember. Y'all keep talking. I feel like there's one more
It
thing.
feels like I'm missing something. I am looking through the chat still, but it's like so much text.
Yeah, just have to go back and read it again. Anyways, y'all keep talking. Y'all do it. Also, by the way, we just found this. You will see that, in obviously not in the YouTube video, but they have a white rabbit popsicle candy. You guys know what I'm talking about? White rabbit candy.
No.
Okay, maybe Megan might know. You don't know? It's okay. There's this traditional, not traditional. It's not very traditional, but it's like a Chinese candy. It's like white rabbit, and anyways, actually, I found a popsicle of it, and it's like blowing my mind. So this
Oh,
is
is
reliving.
it like a little, like it looks like a Tootsie Roll?
Yeah, that, and it's like wrapped in
Oh,
rice
okay,
paper.
okay.
Yeah. So we found the popsicle at Costco. Thing is amazing. It's blowing my mind. Anyways, yo guys, keep on talking. I'm
One
enjoying.
other thing
While,
that's not
while we're going on tangents, I found out that Tolkien based dwarves off of Jews in the Hobbit, and it's thought that like after like in Lord of the Ring, and this is confirmed. He talked about it, like it was based off of Jews, but it was written in the 1920s or 1930s or something like that. And then the Holocaust happened, and he was but all the Germans were very into the fact that he got extremely embarrassed by it. In Lord of the Rings, it's very much like not based off, like he went the other way with it. But he said he didn't mean for like offensive. He just meant it in the first part, like it was just back in the time, you could.
We're short, we're hairy, we like food.
I heard that the Harry Potter girl did that too, but she did it intentionally to be offensive or something like that. She made the goblins that own the bank
Oh,
like Jews.
Yeah.
I heard that was intentional, and she does not like Jews along with like trans people or something. I don't know.
yeah,
She's got a whole
There's a lot
mess.
of stuff
She's
going
got a
on
whole
with
mess
her.
with her. Yeah.
Just getting
Yeah.
well.
But yeah. Oh, and the other thing was the Bagru group. She works there. She worked with them to do assassinations. But that's not the important
Okay.
detail. That was
That
just
wasn't the
something that I thought of.
aside. Okay. So apparently on the note with Tolkien, apparently the note with Tolkien, apparently like I think Hitler or somebody supposedly wrote to him, and Tolkien basically wrote back and said, "Nope, I do not agree with anything you say. Just y'all want to burn books, go burn mine too. But like essentially just like y'all are assholes. I don't want anything to do with you."
Yeah, because he and apparently he didn't, like he based it off of Jews, but he didn't mean for it to be offensive. He just was
Mhm,
like
mhm.
it was in a manner of the time to be like, yeah, I like that, like that. I don't know, but yeah, just interesting.
Yeah, I heard it was coming
Okay.
from a more innocent place.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
here's
give him the
another
benefit of
thing
the
I
doubt,
found.
but I mean, I heard that as well
Um,
too. Like he was just asking, like he was just making or modeling it after, like a lot of obviously the different races, like the elves, the humans, or whatever.
He was
Well,
drawing from natural or not,
yeah,
inspiration from the world itself.
right.
Sorry, Saman, I think you keep getting.
No, I was reading the chat. I found one thing. So I may have misworded it. Tieflings were being assassinated by the government. She was working with the Bagru group to do that. The Council of Defense takes possessions of the murdered Tieflings' properties and assets after they've been murdered as a way to bolster their greed in office. Um,
Okay.
but because there's a hate towards Tieflings, the people of Voltaire don't give a shit. Um, Bodhi isn't necessarily happy with that arrangement that's coming from higher up than the Council of Defense. Like it's coming from the government, but he is the head of the Council of Defense, so he's just something that it's like a deal with the devil.
Yeah, he's
Well,
using it as his position of power, and if that's what you have to do to get.
yeah, and then he says that she said that she wasn't supposed to kill Senior the Akamenos, but the Bagro group wanted too much money, so she had to do it. And then the reason she was there was because she was supposed to tell him that you guys can't be pulling this shit or we'll come after you. But we kind of bashed in and interrupted the meeting.
Okay.
Is
That
it?
makes sense. I think we originally just thought it was just the Bog group, and we knew that she was feeding them information, but we didn't think it was like a full on, hey, get your claws into this other tiefling stuff and then take it once we off them.
Yeah, and then I don't see anything else in this chat.
I
think
remember
that's
it
all.
now. There's one more thing. It's about her body. Do you remember that, Simon?
I said that, didn't I? That she's reanimated and dying, and she needs to be like she has to bring herself, like if she has to get the stone to bring herself back. But I don't care.
I don't
'Cause
remember you
already
saying
did.
that. At least I don't remember you saying that.
I
But
think I said that.
So
He
she's
said she was reanimated, and that was it. I
Yeah, but we
think
were talking. You said you were talking about people with the marks, and then I said that she needs Babel to bring Dad back and to bring
oh,
herself back because she's only
herself.
like part.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
like
okay.
so she's
So
not.
the detail is that her body is dying right now. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
her body's
yeah,
dying.
she's not gonna be alive unless she gets the Babel thing to work. Also,
She has a limited amount of time left, so she's getting antsy. I'm assuming
yeah, my
she's
bad.
getting
That was the
antsy.
point that I was trying to make when I said that she needs it to bring herself back. Yeah, my bad if I wasn't clear enough on that.
Yeah.
Okay. No, no, it's like I just think the missing is she kind of has a time limit. And like I said, I wasn't around for the other ones as much as so like I said, I was just bringing in from past mention, but that's good to know. And so I guess we can use it to the advantage. My personal thing is then since this answers a lot of questions on my end, um, then maybe heading to Crimson Rock is the best thing.
I have a question. If Fira has the hand and she is being possessed by or whatever, because we knew
Apple?
that she by herself was not working with the dark side. She's being possessed by Babel or Babel Associates. Um, and she's a tiefling, so she's allowed in Crimson Rock. I mean, she's the wife of the resistance leader.
Mm.
So, what? Why hasn't she done it yet? Why hasn't she?
My assumption, I didn't ask. My assumption was that Bodhi and Co are like in charge of that. I don't know the right word to use, but they're able to they are able to summon Babel according to my sister. So they're like in turn likely to have control over that situation.
Because you'd
Right?
think
Like
that they'd want to get that done ASAP.
that's where she's
Well,
going, but I think she wanted the scroll because she came to steal the scroll because the scroll stops the sword and the sword stops Babel. So that's why she came to get the scroll. But we got the scroll.
I have an observation. So Bodhi and them, so they're going to probably use the tieflings to open the portal. I think she was originally because she was attacking Cyan. She was going to use Cyan as the sacrificial area to summon Babel. But the thing is, I think Babel will, in the end, will betray everybody, and he's going to do his own thing no matter what. But he's going to be the Pied Piper to lead all these people to do his, to get him in the door. Um, but I'm betting that. So, yeah, I think because she's with the resistance, she may not be 100% like going and making meeting with Bodhi unless something has changed in the meantime since the first couple of raids have gone on. Because I think really after our big battle with her, the raids stopped in Cyan. And that's when they began catching all the tieflings. And I assume the rounding up the tieflings were one of the ways they were making the chimera. Or using, like I said, to get Babel in.
When you say the raids, which raids are you talking about, Megan?
Yeah, the shadow creatures coming in and killing everybody.
Okay, so this is a refresher. You guys, after leaving from Antamond, basically after you're on the way to go and look for Ori's dad because he's had a couple of days head start on, or like let's just say sometime head start on you. So you're heading over to the capital, Cyan. The moment you arrive, there's this big get together. It's like not party, but just like a gathering, and then all of a sudden
it was an announcement about. I think it was an announcement. They were doing an official announcement.
Yeah, some official announcement.
And then that's when we walked in. They did the shadow creatures attacked, but there was one other time the shadow creatures attacked. I thought.
I don't recall that.
And it was kind of like off screen, like we came back and it's another raid had, or like another shadow creature attack had gone on,
Maybe
but
somebody,
not quite as bad.
maybe somebody can refresh my memory. I don't remember that one. I don't doubt you, but I'm just like, I don't remember that one. So I might need to have I'll have to look over my notes again. So it happened sometime afterwards, if that's the case, after the
Okay.
first one, right?
I think it was between us leaving with Chimera Grande and then coming, because we came back to find, um, what's his name? The other tiefling head,
Vesuvio, right?
Vesubio. Yeah. And I think there was one other attack in that time frame, but I could have misunderstood.
Yeah, there was, okay, so
It could have.
there was no attack, really. So at a high level, what happened was that the after that attack, after that raid, or let's call it, it's really an attack. That initial attack by Fira, and then all the shadow demon creatures, the creatures from the Dark Realm, got summoned forth, and they started attacking this city, and afterwards, at that point, they kind of just started locking things down. So the city now is under martial law. And so you went
Okay,
on,
so
you
there
went on your
wasn't.
adventure to go find the sword, go and handle that thing with Dave's tribe, and then get the sword. And then on the way back, Chimera Grande, the Dave's tribe, and then also the sword. You come back to the city, and it's basically under martial law, and that's when things are basically all crazy. And then you run into Vesuvio inside Ori's home.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was not another attack. Okay.
Okay, I thought that. Okay. My misunderstanding.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm glad we cleared that up. I'm loving this, by the way. This is great. Like, there's stuff that I don't even remember. I was like, oh my god, we did do that. That was like literally years ago. And I have to pull back. I was like, what? Who was that again? So yes.
I feel like the person with the red strings on the board, like going all the different like spider webs.
Mm-hmm. That meme.
I'm having to reconnect it all. That's great. Sean, what do you think? Any thoughts on your side?
I mean, my thoughts are, so we have the scroll that needs to I believe the scroll needs to be close to, we need to summon it in when we are actually about to fight. Was that it? After the summoning has already taken place. The question is, where would we be most best positioned for that? If we are there, like, I imagine it's going to be a very big ritual. In fact, a ton of people. We would need to, somehow find where it's taking place, and get everything situated. I don't know. Yeah, it would be best if we could figure out a way to keep, Pan and Sister alive. But if I don't know whether that's a route we want to go down, because it sounds like they're trying to heavily influence us to, heavily influence her to, do whatever she can to, stay alive. And so they probably made this, and just aligned with their incentive. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we could. At this point, I don't think there's any reason to go back to Siam. We could just, go to Advolthier.
Crimson Rock.
Crimson Rock. We can probably try and find out where the military camp is, see if we can disrupt it like a little bit, maybe do some fat gathering at the war camp, and then, get word to the people in Crimson Rock. Because at this point, I think we can't, we've told Vesubio to contact them and let them know about the advancement, but whether or not he's done it or taken action,
what's most important? What's our next step? What's the most important thing for us to do next?
Well, at this point, I think it's just to stop.
I mean, realistically, we need to also make sure that this sword is going to work because although we have, some evidence to say it would, you know, if we are relying on it for the end of all sake. Um, Maybe it would be good for us to sort of rally all the tieflings, get them up in arms, maybe arm them for a bigger fight, maybe a
At
war.
Crimson Rock.
Yeah, yeah, because we might need to push through. Like, I imagine they're going to guard Bodhi pretty heavily if they have any information to say that this is that we have something that could potentially disrupt their plans. Um, or sorry, not Bodhi. Who are they sending?
The Council of Defense, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, they're summoning Bodhi.
Babel.
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 Bodhi is
Also,
summoning Babel.
I was
Bodhi.
slightly withholding information because I don't want to say I don't believe my sister, but like she could be lying. I'm probably not because it doesn't really like make sense that she like the nothing that she said seems to like not fit. But like she could be withholding truth or being manipulative or whatever. Like so I
So
wouldn't say it's terrible. Although she's never been like that as in the past, manipulative. I wouldn't say like it wouldn't hurt to like try to get some information, which is why I was trying to like like poke information out of Lucius to see how it compared with the information that I was given, and I did get some confirmation when we caught him like being sus.
mm,
So
so-
I mean, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing in the world to like go see if we can get information, especially about like chimeras or um Fira.
I definitely think Fear would be a valid option, and I have a spell. I've had it for a little while, but I was trying to determine when the best time to use it is locate object. So, and I've seen the hand. I've had it in my hands, and so you can use this spell, can locate a specific object known to you as long as you have seen it up close within 30 feet at least once. Alternatively, the spell can locate the nearest object of a particular kind, such as a certain type of apparel, jewelry, furniture, tool, or weapon. So, Mikage, so that's why I kept asking, does the tabaxi have anything particular, anything identifying?
No,
But
probably
since,
not because she's a monk
yeah,
or like
I
a,
mean,
so,
she doesn't like
can
carry
you
anything.
use? Let me look it up. Can you use locate objects on a person?
well, I mean, this is a hand. I was thinking the hand specifically.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think she has the hand either. Oh, Fira has the hand. I
Oh,
mean,
Farrah
yeah.
has him. So we may not be able to find your sister, but we can at least locate where Fear is for now.
I mean,
I mean,
I don't know. I don't think I asked directly, but my sister was probably gonna like run away to Bodhi and then go to Crimson Rock.
Mm-hmm.
hmm. I mean, if we're looking to stop the ritual before, because I guess we don't necessarily need to. If they don't have the hands, then they can't do the ritual. Is that
Yeah, but I
too?
don't think that's gonna. I don't think that's an issue. My assumption is that if they plan on summoning Babel at Crimson Rock, then they already have control over the outcome of the hand. Like that's playing into their. They're not like just gonna show up there and hope it works. Like they are doing this.
Yeah.
They just
They
wanted
need
the scroll to like so there's no counter option. That's why
hedge
she
their
was there
bets.
to get the scroll. Yeah, like they don't want someone to have the scroll to stop them or whatever. So that's why they went after the scroll.
I mean, if we could find a way to, like, I don't know, possess one of the councilmen, like disrupt it, get into their inner circle. I don't know if there is a Middle Earth C4, like just blow blow their shit up if we know where it's going to take place.
Well, Ori has dominate person. So if we have to send someone in to do our bidding.
What does that do?
It puts her in control of a person's actions, and they will regard her as like. Let me go ahead and put it up on this thing.
Yes, please. I'm interested in that too. It's not charm person, right? This is something different.
No, it's dominate person.
Dominate person. Wow.
Get out your whips and chains.
Yeah, I was about to say this is.
Ori's learned a lot in her adventuring time.
Dungeon Master, Dominate Person.
Sprinkle a little red dust on it, and then you got yourself a party. You know what I mean?
So it's like a version of charm.
It's a version of charm person, but they will do whatever you want.
Yeah, charm just makes them positively inclined towards you. Yeah. This seems much more than that. Like you get to do
this one. They will follow your instructions.
You can use your action to take total and precise control of the target. Until the end of your next turn, the creature takes only the actions you choose and doesn't do anything that you don't allow it to do. It's basically turning someone into a puppet.
Yeah. So if we need someone to... I was going to say, if we need someone to carry magical C4 somewhere, pick a person. I got it.
So how long does this last? It
1
said
minute.
until the end of turn, but what if you're not in combat?
It is
1 minute.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 minute.
I'm right now envisioning like the destruction of the Great Sept of Balor in Game of Thrones, right? Like where the whole thing just like goes or something, like green flames just go up and smoke everywhere. So Ori is like what's her face? Can't remember. Cersei, basically. Like you're acting out Cersei. Which is kind of cool. And this is a tangent, but we don't really implement it all that much, but there are in-game, or rather in encounter spells, and then outside encounter spells too, right? Like when you're you're exploring and you're trying to find something or whatever. But we've been using them all interchangeably. So it's just interesting to think about that. I don't really have a point of we should do it this way or that way, but other games which I'm researching actually you have if you're in a fight, you can only use these spells. But if you're outside a fight, then you can only use these spells, because it's kind of game breaking if you use them one or the other. We've been using them interchangeably, so I'm not going to stop that. It's just fascinating. So.
I like using them kind of interchangeably because if it was real life, we wouldn't say, oh, no, we're not fighting anyone. I can't use that spell.
Yeah.
I mean, it adds a lot of flavor, which I like, so it's totally fine.
Yeah.
So I think we got an idea of where to head and kind of what to do. Do we want to just wrap up here and then call it a night and then take up the next time in the general area of where we're going to be?
Well, just to be safe, why don't you guys spell it out explicitly so I make sure, because we have a lot of ideas are floating around, which I love, but I just want to know explicitly what you all have agreed upon what you want to do.
Look for Fira, or procure information about Fira.
Yeah, we definitely want to head towards Crimson Rock, right?
I think we at least want to catch up with the the soldiers that are advancing on it, see if we can do some recon there, and then maybe delay them long enough to where we can get in touch with the tieflings and stop the ritual or, do what we need to. But I have a feeling if we're going to head towards Crimson Rock, if we focus on the Voltaire army there and kind of disrupt it, we'll probably find Fira, Bodhi, and them, and that'll start the process of answering some of those questions.
Do we know how close they are? Have they left the city yet?
So the
I think they haven't.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Megan.
No. So if my time frame's correct, we only have 2 or 3 days before they attack.
I thought the party of people, the big group, was already on their way to Crimson Rock.
I thought they were going to, because well, it also depends on if he told us the truth. When we were in Cyan at Ori's house, I think it was 4 to 6 days before they were going to attack Crimson Rock. So I don't know, like, where they were physically marching. I don't think they had left the city yet. But, I'm sure the DM can clarify.
No, I think you're good. I'm gonna leave it like that, John. Kind of think about it. You actually, so yes, you are more or less right. You were talking to, I think it was Vesuvio or somebody who you picked up. Like, yeah, they were going to be, is it heading out, rather the attack is happening. It's going to be beginning in 7 days, and so you've already made a trek out to Central. So consider that like a day out there. You spent some time in Central. You're currently in Central right now. So let's say 2-3 days of elapsed already. So heading back now, yeah, you only have a few more days left or so before the attack will be launched. Now that doesn't say where the armies people are at yet. It's just that the attack is going to be happening in roughly like a few more days or so. Let's say 3 days.
So they could also be positioning already. But usually before an attack, armies will finalize their plans before actually sending them out.
Like, it would be
Situation
nice if
situation.
you could get into Crimson Rock before they do, but if the army's already, like, getting in position,
I mean, that's a good
seeing what we
strategy.
can garner from outside might be better. But if we could get there first, if there was any way to get there first, warn everyone, tell them what to do, come up with a strategy.
So
I say get there.
when they summon Babel, though, surely it's in their best interest that he doesn't destroy their stuff, or if he's going to destroy the entire, how does that benefit them though? Like if they've already acquired all wealth from all the tieflings, if he destroys
That's like
these,
your. Maybe I didn't clarify. The government of Voltier is after the wealth. The Council of Defense is works for them, but Bodhi doesn't like them either. He's just the head. Like he's like playing with them, or like, does that make sense? The government isn't after Babel. Bodhi is after Babel. Like Bodhi wants to summon Babel because Bodhi doesn't like Voltaire. Like he's the head of in their council, but he doesn't actually like them. He doesn't support Voltaire. He wants to summon Babel for his own reasons. So he's like
He's using
he's like using them or whatever.
He's using their greed, and he's probably going to say, hey, you can take over that country and gain more wealth. And he can use until we clarify for sure what the actual ritual is, it could be that he needs more body count, so he can just use their army.
Yeah, he's the head of the Voltier's Council of Defense, but he also does not like Voltier, and he's after his own personal gain for his family. So he's using the strife of the tieflings to his advantage. Like he doesn't necessarily hate the tieflings. He's just using it as a medium or whatever to reach his end goal.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
I'm gonna jump in real fast, Sean. I don't want you to lose your thought, but I will just remind everybody to, very nice, Rachel, that you did meet Bodhi like a long, long time ago before you knew.
Yeah, he was that nice guy in the little hut with the fire going, and we hung out. He was like this sweet little man.
Yep.
Yeah, and he knew my dad and all that stuff.
He did. He knew your dad, and so he knew basically all the stuff that Volti has done, and I don't remember if I feel like I've told you this, so forgive me if not, or rather, if it wasn't revealed, it's fine. But he lost his wife and daughter in the attack. So he was in, what is this place again? He was
you told us that.
I did tell you, right? He was in Heasted. He was in Brawick or rather his home was in Bralwick, and then his wife and daughter were killed. I think he was gone, if I remember correctly. Oh yeah, his wife. Okay. Sorry. He left. He's a traveling business person, does his thing, and then afterwards, his best friend was actually the archbishop. You remember that? And then
Yes.
Who's not dead, right?
He wasn't dead at the time. No. He left, and afterwards, then Voltier, in their various military pursuits, came and attacked Bralwick. He's dead. It's one of their times they did, and killed a whole bunch of people, including Bodhi's wife and daughter. And then the archbishop basically tried to save them, but it didn't work out for him. So he died too, and then so Bodhi was able to revive him for a time.
Because I remember when we were fighting the Archbishop, Bodhi, like, saved him on the brink of death.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he now?
You guys haven't seen him since. But yes, he came in and he essentially saved him right as you were about to kill him. He saved him. And
exactly. Because
I
did Hellish Rebuke, and he almost died from that. I remember because I was very happy about that.
Yeah.
And then he didn't. So, okay, if he's Pride, we saw Lust and Gluttony at that one place where they were making another Metaras stone.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the other sins?
Y'all have killed so far. Y'all have killed Lust and Gluttony. Those are really back in the beginning. With when you basically came across Dave's, let's call him mentor, and he came and basically Lust essentially killed Dave's mentor. So then you took out Lust and Gluttony. Argus was Sloth.
Okay.
The Archbishop is one as well too.
He's Pride,
He's
right?
Pride. There's Greed.
Sister?
He probably is one of the Voltaire people.
She was.
There's Greed, Wrath, and
Greed was the warlock. She was the one who was going around. Remember, y'all killed
okay.
her, basically.
Okay.
So that's 5.
And
so there's 2 more that you guys.
Maybe Bodhi is Wrath.
Or your sister.
Maybe. She was dead. She got reanimated, so I don't know
What's
about...
the 7th one?
You still got Envy and Wrath.
Envy and Wrath. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm wondering where we'll find them.
What happens if we kill all of them?
Probably nothing.
Probably nothing. I'm just interested.
Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like, and again, I said 10:30. We hit the mark. You guys are going to be looking for Fira. You're going to be heading towards Crimson Rock, and ideally catching up towards, let's call it the war party or the army that's heading out there too. And you're going to try and figure out what you want to do from there. I think it's a good idea. I don't know. I mean, I'll leave it up to you guys what you decide you want to do. I don't want to inject strategy.
I think it's good.
We'll leave it at that. Okay. All right. Man, it's like a step back in time. It's crazy. I forget that, again, we've been doing this for 2.5 years. It's almost 3 years now. So there's a lot of content that I've frankly forgotten as well too. There is one more detail.
I've got some tricks for the last battle that I'm going to be pulling.
Awesome. I love it. I'm really tempted to let you guys just level up just to give you guys like one more thing.
I don't care because I don't actually get anything cool till like level 13. So
Yeah, I don't care.
Multi-class.
Except if I die, it helps me not die, which I guess might help for a final battle.
That's fair.
I would love to have more spells.
Right. There we go. I can foresee, for instance, like because we've got, let's say 5-6 more sessions to go, such that, so again, we're kind of metagaming right now, but there probably will be a combat or 2 in between before the big finale thing going on, right? So you could expect some combat and stuff, so it would not hurt to have some more firepower there. One more detail, and I know I've mentioned this, but you may have forgotten. Do you guys remember Elune and Equus?
yeah,
Remember
those
those
yeah.
people.
The people, right? They
Yeah.
were with Bodhi, right? Remember, Elune was the one who was trying to get you, like, hey, help me out.
Yeah, one helped us, or one was trying to help us or something.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember, but actually, they basically have been revived. or rather, their spirits within them are actually Bodhi's.
Wife and daughter.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember that.
So, just FYI. Yeah, I think that's it. This was man. This is fun. This is interesting.
So next game we'll finish up with Fiestia and my brother, and then go from there, or
Yeah.
because that was the one thing I wanted to do, is just finish up with them too, because I want to find out about the documents. I haven't clarified those, or do you want to just?
Yeah, we could do that for sure. You could finish up in Sandral, and then I would imagine that you'll probably like start heading out towards Crimson Rock to look for whoever, right? Or start going in that path, and then looking for Fira and trying to catch up with the war. You're basically now heading towards the battle zone, right? The battlefield of where things are going on. So very cool, very cool. All right, it is 10:30, and so let's kind of wrap this up real fast. I will ask us a quick retro. Just say something, anything you want, just like feedback on this session. Again, this was very much like just an info share, and it feels like a what you'll call it, like a clips episode where you kind of like go back in time and you're like, oh, remember when this happened, and then you kind of show it. Remember when this happened, and you show it. So that's kind of what it felt like a little bit.
Like a best of.
Like a best of episode, yeah. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's do that real fast. Rachel, if you could, just any feedback, whatever, any thoughts that you have.
Pan's backstory. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh my god. A lot of things make sense now. Like, that's a big one for me. I'm very happy we know these things because I was very confused on some things. Thank you for that, Smod. No, this was very helpful because I was very confused, and this definitely helped me bring it all together.
Very cool. I will chime in real fast. I want you to finish. But if there are any more questions, by all means, like I want to get these things out because again, our timeline is coming, and we will have a session afterwards too. Like I'll try and wrap up whatever I can. With
You
other
can
questions.
tell us all your juicy secrets.
I'll tell you some of them, not all of them, but I will tell you some for sure. I won't give away the whole kit and caboodle. Okay. Anything else, Rachel? Thank you. That was great.
That's it.
Okay, great. Megan, if you could, just any feedback that you want.
I'm glad we recapped a lot because, they're, like I said, because specifically I came in kind of mid-campaign, kind of tying these in and kind of hashing out, like, that information was really helpful. So really enjoyed that. I think this was more just a summary of where we were so far. And, yeah.
Okay.
I think that put us in a good place to move forward, like, successfully.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Sean, any feedback?
Yeah, I like the recap of everything that happens. I'm definitely going to be at this episode again just to, make sure I got everything. Yeah, I think it was good. I think it's also good to have some strategy when we're coming to the conclusion. So it wasn't, I think this was a good session to have.
I will also get this session out there ASAP as well to bless you, to YouTube. So then afterwards, I'll send you guys the link if you care to rewatch it again, because this was a very heavy info session with lots of juicy details. Cool, thank you. And Samad, the big reveal, dude. What? Any feedback?
Yeah, I mean, my only feedback is I was really thinking about if I wanted to play this like as a betrayer or not. But Pan doesn't seem like that kind of dude. He's kind of not like that. He's like
You like
chill-
your friends.
He's like a chill dude, yeah. So he was like, nah. So that
What's
because
his
I was thinking about it last time. Even when you were asking those questions at the end of the session about motives and all that stuff, Kenneth DM'd me, and he was like, "You know all of this, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do, but I don't know how I'm gonna play it yet, so I'm not gonna say anything right now."
Yeah. Yeah, it was that was funny because as you guys were asking the questions and I was writing it down, I'm just like, Samad, you know this stuff, right? Like I do. I was like, okay, all right, I'll leave it at that, and I'll put it in Samad's hands to to determine what's going. So for me, I was surprised that you revealed all of it this time. Like I didn't know where you were gonna go.
Yeah,
honestly.
I really was gonna message you like on Friday and be like, "Yo, dude, set up a story in case I wanna." Like, because I didn't want you to have to play that by ear, me like turning the tables. So I was gonna tell you to set up, or like at least be aware that I might do it. But then I decided against it.
I would have been okay either way. I think
Mikage
that's
was
great.
a little sus. She was like,
I had a good story ready to lie too about what happened in the forest. I had a story for that also,
Oh man,
but
Yeah.
that's not the way that I went with it. So
Pan's character is an
I
agent of
think
chaos for sure. Like every time something happens, I'm like, man, what is Pan gonna do? And it's always something chaotic. It's great every single time. Sorry, go ahead, Megan.
my original plan was to actually confront you to the side, like without the other two, like around, just to be like, dude, I know something's up. But 'cause I didn't like that was pretty much it. And like Mikage was like, I've seen this. I'm not gonna bring it up in front of the group, but we need to talk.
Oh, I like that friction too because you did see that right at the top, and I was like, something you know something's going on, and I was like, okay, I'm just
yeah,
Yep.
but I had as soon as we did the DM session, I was like, I'll come up with my story right now and make sure it has no holes in case. But yeah, that is not the way I wanted to play it this time. Maybe
Okay.
next time. Now you guys can't trust me if we play again.
Well, hopefully now
No,
they
I
can.
mean, it's cool either
because
way.
you've told
I,
everybody
I,
everything now, so all the details
Yeah, I
are
don't
out.
have any more. I don't have any more info. I do have holes that I wish I would have asked, but I didn't think of them at the time. So now I'm just Dan doesn't know because he
Okay.
didn't ask those questions.
It's good. Sometimes not knowing is the best thing. Okay. I thought this was great. I actually did not know what to expect, and I came out really happy with everything. So I hope everybody enjoyed it, and I look forward to our next time, where we'll actually be playing more, versus just like a lot of planning. And that's it. So thank you everybody for listening. Again, I will have this out very shortly because I know people may want to re-listen to this for notes and stuff. So thank you, and we'll talk to y'all later.